Hey everybody, Sally here. Just wanted to shoot the breeze a little bit. A lot of stuff going on with the flat earth world these days. So I figured I would give my 2 cents on it. Just talk about it. Sounds like something fun to do on a Saturday. So first things first, a little housekeeping. I'm going to have some hangouts coming up, one with Planar Walk. I'll be premiering that on Monday. That's Monday, United States time. I think it'll be Tuesday for Planar Walk, actually, by that time. And then on the following Monday, I'm going to have Chris Hill on. And I've just recently ran into Chris Hill and found out who he was and what his story is. But basically, if you've seen that Stephen Hawking's Discovery Channel Flat Earth debunk, then you know his work. So we're going to be talking to him. That's 2 Mondays from now. And as you can see, I have a new bulletin board. And I'm collecting items to put on the bulletin board. Got my first 2 items on there. But I want stuff from other people. I'm thinking about putting Miles's item on there. Miles's observations on there and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I went and spent a couple bucks on some paper to do a little green screen, and so let's start decorating the bulletin board. Help me out with that. Okay, so let's move on to the content. Well, first of all, let me change the screen here. Chris Hill, yeah. So Chris Hill, if you've seen this Discovery Channel Flat Earth debunk that had Stephen Hawking's narrating, then you know who Chris Hill is. I think he did something with the laser, if I recall my email thread correctly. So I'm going to have him on. There's actually some very interesting questions that I want to ask him. I've been looking for the original, and unfortunately the original video link, I think, is defunct now. I'm not sure if Discovery Channel took it down or what, but yeah, this video is no longer available, which is really bizarre. If that was the original Discovery Channel video, you'd think it would still be up there, but anyway, I'm gonna have to find an original, or maybe just get enough information from one of these videos that talked about it or whatever. But yeah, I need to go back and watch the original. And I believe the email thread, they might have actually linked me to the original, so I'll have to go check that out. But it's going to be interesting to have him on, because I have a very specific question about that, about the results of that. Because it felt a little artificial to me, to be honest. I mean, obviously the debunk is legit, and the experiments are legit, but the value right at the end felt a little weird. So I'm going to be asking him about that specifically. Also, Planar Walk. If you haven't subscribed to Planar Walk, go do it now. Me and him kind of have a gentleman's wager on how many subscribers he'll have by the time we do the interview tonight. He needs 2,000 in 5 hours, so go subscribe. Or up to 2,000. Okay, so interesting things have happened in Flat Earth recently. There have been, in the last few months, a lot of things that have really seemed to trigger a lot of flat earthers, which I've found very interesting. We're obviously doing something right. Flat earthers are being triggered by what's been happening lately, the GET 2019 observations. But before that, there were a lot of flat earthers that were actually changing sides. Sean G is one of them. I believe Jamie Brown is another one. And if you remember Flat Earth A-Hole, I believe he's no longer a flat earther anymore. Now he's just Jake the A-Hole. A lot of flat earthers changing sides. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Seems like there's seems like we have momentum, you know, on the debunker side, which is really good. A lot of debunkers are coming online. They're getting a lot of numbers. And we're seeing things like, you know, Nathan Oakley melting down and talking about sexually abusing people, you know, on live hangouts, which is amazing. Just shows you how triggered they're getting. Southern Israelite yesterday was just melting down because of our newest experiments with GID 2019. Jesse Kozlowski went and took GPS readings across the bridge. That's going to be coming out very soon. I'm trying to tease it. I would really like to share it myself personally, but Jesse wants to polish it a little bit, and Walter still wants to polish it a little bit so that the application's easier to use. But there is an application already existing where Jesse's data is plotted, and it looks exactly like my observations. So this is very interesting, and this is what triggered Southern Israelite last night on Timmy's show. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll show you that page. I'll show you that too. I need to come back to that. So Southern Israelite gets triggered over his flat Earth religious conspirator beliefs. Yeah, so he comes on to Timmy's hangout last night, and there was a point where I could have swore he was about to start crying. It was crazy. But yeah, so here's the thing. We actually go out and Jesse goes out and takes GPS measurements. It's in Earth-centered, Earth-fixed coordinates. Those are X, Y, Z coordinates in a Cartesian coordinate system. You plot that back into a space, a 3D space, and you get the profile of the bridge. And that's exactly what we have. That profile, in fact, does match the optical observations, which means that all of these arguments that flat earthers have been making about there being some type of optical effect that's causing this is complete bunk. And so what that means is that this latest test that Jesse has done and that Walter Bislin has rendered, what it's opened up is all these observations that Tim Osmond's made, that I've made, that Miles Davis has made, that Al-Kay's made, that Wolfie's made, and a slew of other people that I haven't remembered to say. But all these guys that have made these observations, and that flat earthers have been, hanging on by a thread saying, oh, it's got to be some type of optics, all those are back on the table. I mean, they were never off the table, but now that argument has been debunked, completely debunked, by Jesse Kozlowski's observations with GPS waypoints. So a lot of stuff has been happening very recently, and it's good. I mean, it's just good. A lot of flat earth tears, a lot of triggering. It's been great. Yeah, so back to Jose Gonzalez. So Jose hasn't done a full flip based on talking to him. He's kind of back on the fence, I would say. He's looking for evidence, though. He's looking for evidence of the flat earth, and he's getting really pissed off with flat earthers for not providing it. Of course, Arwen says it's Jose's betrayal. So much drama. Arwen was pissed off that day with Jose. But it's good. I mean, it just shows you that we're making progress. I mean, there are flat earthers that are flipping. There are flat earthers that are, going back on the fence. Some that are just kind of disappearing off the scene, and they're no longer flat earthers, but there's no backstory. They just disappear one day. So a lot of good progress is happening there, and I just invite everybody to just keep the pressure on, because whatever we've been doing the last few months is working. Let me look at the chat real quick. I had a spiel just to kind of dump there. Hi, Nana. Movie Vertigo. It's good to see you around, man. I'm glad to see you here. Movie Vertigo has been out of the game recently. He's just been busy with other stuff, and but if you haven't seen Movie Vertigo's channel, you need to go check it out. He has some awesome stuff. Like, he has these 360. It's a 360 camera star trails, so you can actually like move around on YouTube. Turn around and see star trails, both north and south. It's pretty awesome. He has a lot of cool stuff like that, and of course he experiments with the P1000, P900. Why am I shooting the breeze? A simple geometry. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Creaky? Creaky Binder, it's another channel you need to go check out. That's one of the new debunkers that came online recently. Rekim says, what kind of New Orleans guy wears a Yankees hat? One can hope the Saints do well. Yeah, it's been a while since well, almost all the way back to the year after Katrina. Yeah, it's been a long time since we've done pretty well, actually, to be honest. We just haven't made it to the finals. Let's see, what else? Who dat? That's right. We don't have a baseball team, so I can get away with wearing a Yankees cap. Anyway, back in the day, I had my favorites, Dodgers and Reds, I guess. Probably my two favorites. I like Cleveland too. Cleveland's pretty good. I was always a Cubs fan. It's been a while though. Gertrude Perkins says, Nathan Oakley has been talking about sexually abusing people. Seriously? Oh, this is a good one to talk about, actually. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. What I want to be careful about what I actually put on my stream. Yeah, this is the video here.
Calculator.
I'm not going to actually play it because it's pretty vile, and I really don't want it to be part of my stream. But you can go check it out yourself. Yeah, it's pretty vile, and I would like to point out that he does use the word actually. Okay, so a lot of people, actually Anthony Riley and Quantum Eraser both justified him saying this vile, nasty stuff. They justified that, and my question is why? Why do you even feel a need to justify that type of behavior? But they did. They justified that, and then they wanted to say it was metaphorical. But it wasn't really metaphorical, not at the beginning, because what he says in the beginning is that he's actually going to do something. And as soon as you use the word actually, words have a meaning. Actually means not metaphorical. Okay? Then after he said that, he started trying to backtrack and make it metaphorical because he realized what he had done on his live stream. But it's pretty vile and heinous behavior, in my opinion, and why anybody goes to his channel anymore for anything is beyond me, because the person has shown himself to just to be like a disgusting individual. Movie Vertigo asked if he's missed anything from Grandpa Soundly. Yeah, there's been a couple things. I was invited to this, this funny little group called SEAL Team 6. It's Cyman Danny, it's Conspiracy Cats, and The Agent. We haven't really done much with it after that, but I expect to be doing things with those guys soon. And so that's going to be fun. But yeah, I did a little video accepting that invite, and Grandpa Soundly was in it, Movie Vertigo. Tommy got a new computer. Sounds like he's going to be doing some YouTube and streaming maybe. Let's see what I hate it when it does this. It always like reloads the wrong way. So like I have to come all the way back. Oh, are we okay, so Tim, are we talking about Jose? He just went on Dells and settles the sphere? Wow, that's brave. Did he get yelled at? Goodness gracious. I guess we're talking about Jose in that case. It's probably from that, whenever I was talking about Jose. That's good. I'm glad he's saying it's a sphere. Yeah, they are. They have gotten to the point where it's all about personal insults, Gary. They just, they don't have anything else. We've been pushing on them for a few years, and we've been pushing them further and further into the corner. We've been painting them in, and they have all these. It's just like a liar. When a person lies, they have to remember all their lies, and they have to make all their lies self-consistent. And we're getting to the point where they can't do that anymore. Their lies aren't self-consistent, and we're getting to a point where they're running out of ideas. I mean, we've already had flat earthers say that GPS works. It just doesn't work the way that we think it does, right? So GPS works, just doesn't work based on satellites. Okay, well, they've accepted that. They've accepted a long time ago that GPS works. So now when we go out there and use GPS, so the one thing they don't understand, and this is how they can make those claims, right? They can make those claims about GPS working and get away with it because they thought GPS was latitude, longitude, and elevation. Well, that's not how GPS actually works. So GPS actually records its raw values in Earth-centered, Earth-fixed values, which are Cartesian coordinates, X, Y, and Z values. And then they get converted into lat, long, altitude. So the raw coordinates can just be plotted in a cube, in a three-dimensional space. And when you do that, you see the profile of the bridge. Boom, it's right there. It's like awesome. It's really amazing. Because at that point, optics is out the window. We're not talking about refraction anymore. We're not talking about lenses. We're not talking about any of this nonsense that they try and bring up and obfuscate over and over again. They're all about convolution, obfuscation, making it a confusion among people. Well, the GPS thing completely clears that up. There's no optical effects that we have to worry about. We're just talking about GPS at this point. GPS works. They agreed to it. It shows the profile of the bridge. The profile of the bridge matches my observations, which means that all their optical talk is bunk, and it's been debunked. It's all bunk. It's completely negligible. That's the word it is. The refractive effects on a clear condition day, when the atmosphere is pretty much homogeneous, the surface temperature and the air temperature are about the same, the refractive effects are negligible, and they aren't responsible for showing the curvature, and that's what these GPS waypoints show us. So that means that all these observations that we've been showing with clear conditions on good seeing condition days, they are what they appear to be. That's exactly what they are. We are seeing the curvature, and we already knew that, but now they have to accept that that's the truth. I mean, it's just all there is to it. So I do have a feeling that once this stuff actually comes out and gets spread around, which I'm relying on you guys to do, is spread this information around and use it in your arguments with these guys and in your debates with these guys. Use this information. The more and more of them that see it, the less and less likely, it is that people are going to be flat earthers. That's just all there is to it. Phil Nye, the physics guy. Hello, how are you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Brainy Beaver likes the elevator shots. Me too. I really like those. I'd like to get my drone back out there. I haven't done that this season yet. Did it about a year ago now. Simple Geometry says soundly, I'm new. Providing geometric proof of flat Earth is impossible. Correct. As a matter of fact, geometry or globe or Earth measurements, which is what geometry means, in fact, falsifies flat Earth. WF6I has been a Saints fan since 1982. Who dat? That's right. Go baby. Go Saints. All right. Let's see here. Anything else? Paul Riggs says, hi, Soundly from Australia, the place which still has no polar star visible. Yeah, that is true. So anyway, yeah, that's what's been going on in Flat Earth recently, or at least what I've been aware of. There's a lot of stuff going off in the back channels and the Discord channels. I tell you, I've been in Jim Panda's Discord a few times the last couple days and like just left because it's a bunch of people sitting around screaming at each other. It's amazing. They get so mad at each other over the silliest things. I think they're arguing about whether or not you should be a vegan today or something like that. It's amazing. I don't know why they get so angry about stuff like that. So anyway, that was pretty much it. The only other thing I wanted to kind of, I guess, talk about a little bit more is the Antonio Superrats thing. So Antonio Superrat's channel got shut down. Let's go to it. Yeah. It's weird. It said something else earlier. This channel does not exist. That's like, whoa. Oh. That's like gone. I wonder if that's true. I wonder if it's really gone or if YouTube's just making it seem that way. But this actually brings up a lot of stuff, like the stuff that's been going on with Daniel Pratt and Team Skeptic. Let's see if I can pull up one of those real quick. Let's see. Let's see, Daniel. Well, I should have just searched for Team Skeptic. But the stuff that's been going on with Daniel Pratt and Team Skeptic, if you haven't noticed, Daniel Pratt is just in a full, like, midlife crisis and publishing it on YouTube. I don't know how else to explain it, but he got his feelings hurt and he went after Team Skeptic with a false DMCA takedown, which it's going to turn out that Team Skeptic is in the right here. It is fair use. I mean, we all in this little arena know about fair use at this point. Daniel Pratt knows about fair use. He uses it all the time. So for him to do this false DMCA takedown is like, wow, I don't know what he's thinking. It makes no sense. He's kind of freaking out for some reason, and I don't know why, other than he just seems to be crazy. So anyway, so this brings up a point though, is that Team Skeptic, had this copyright claim against him, and his channel's still up. He was limited to certain things. There are certain things he couldn't do, but his channel's still up. You get 3 strikes with copyrights, and the thing is that YouTube is, for the most part, very lenient. I mean, they give you a lot of opportunity to fix these things. So if you, like, for example, I had a copyright claim against me, and I went and looked at it. It wasn't a DMCA takedown. It was just a copyright claim on some music. And I went and looked at it and realized that I had picked up a song from CC Mixter that I thought was what is it? Commons? What's the word I'm looking for? CC copyright is what again? Creative Commons, right? So I thought it was Creative Commons, this song, and a lot of the CC Mixer songs are Creative Commons. And usually I filter it so that I have a Creative Commons. And there is a little bug, and if you don't pay attention, you can end up picking a song from CC Mixter that's not Creative Commons. That's what I ended up doing. So I ended up including a song in my video that wasn't Creative Commons. So I get this notice from YouTube. It says, hey, you didn't do anything wrong, but your monetized video is now going to be, whatever comes in off this monetized video is going to go to this person that's making a copyright claim against you. And so I'll go look at it. I find the song. Sure enough, it is copyrighted. So I was like, okay, whatever. Did I get a strike? No, no strikes, because the way YouTube's set up is it's set up to where it can you can get away, you can get out of copyright problems by letting the other person take the whatever the profit is off the monetization, or you can edit your video. YouTube lets you edit your video to remove specific pieces that might have copyrighted content, or you can just take your video down. You just take it off, make it private. So for Antonio Subirats to get to the point where his channel is taken down, I don't see how you can get to that point. Like, it would take you like screwing up big time over and over again to get to that point, and not trying to fix it. So it's really, really surprising to see that a whole channel is taken down, and I'm really curious about the backstory there. So if anybody gets Antonio into a hangout, ask him the backstory. Not that he's going to tell us the truth. I mean, he won't. Yeah, never mind. Forget that. He's not going to tell us the truth anyway. But yeah, that's kind of surprising. So it did say earlier. It said something about multiple copyright. This channel was removed due to multiple third-party copyright claims, is the way I think it was worded. It did say that earlier. I'm not seeing it now. I don't know why. I guess something changed. Anyway, yeah. Kind of speaks to the character there a little bit, to be honest. And you can say I'm judging him or whatever. I mean, everybody judges everybody. Not really judging him. I'm just saying you have to have really tried to screw up to get to this point, I think, on a YouTube channel. Hold on, this is interesting. Darth Killer. What about Nathan Oakley and Eric Dubé? Both have had multiple channel takedowns. Same for Daniel Pratt. Nathan Oakley had one problem with one channel. I don't think he had multiple. I don't think so. Well, well, actually, his current channel, if you count his current channel, yes, it's multiple. He's having problems there too. And I don't know exactly what his problems are, to be honest, with the second channel. It all happened the same time that he started making threats about Timmy Osmond. Of course, the actual, meta that goes with that, like what actually took his channel down, didn't seem to be related to, abusive content or whatever. But I don't know. You never know with YouTube. You never know what they want to share and don't share, stuff like that, and how they word it. There's sometimes they might be careful about how they word things. It might be one thing and they might imply another. You just never really know, unless you can actually have the emails that came from YouTube to that user. You don't really know what happened. Daniel Pratt had multiple takedowns. I didn't know that. That's not surprising to me at all, though. Wow. I mean, that guy is... He's really having a midlife crisis on the internet right now. I don't mean to laugh, because it is kind of sad, but it is amazing and entertaining how crazy he's gotten. Let's see, anybody else? Tony Colo is apparently a concave earther. You and Jason will get along just fine. Science of Brian, soundly have to go. Alright, man, see you later. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, well, that's pretty much it. Don't have much more to say. Just a lot of stuff was going on. Figured I'd give it a whirl and just chat about it a little bit. A lot of things have happened this week and the last couple months, which seem to be moving in the right direction, where people are waking up, actually getting out of the rabbit hole, which is flat Earth. Let's hope that they continue to do that. Let's hope that whatever we're doing is working. I like to think that our observations are helping. There's a lot of conversations going on in back rooms that I think are probably helping. Um, it's hard to it's hard. I've never seen kind of people do what Jose's done. He kind of extricated himself like overnight. Seems like it takes a lot longer for other people, but let's support guys like that. You know, whenever you see somebody that's, you know, waking up to the reality that the Earth is actually a globe and it's not flat, let's support them. You know, let's make it easy on them. Definitely don't hold the fact that they were once a flat earther over their heads. I know a lot of us have a tendency to start mocking them. Let's try not to do that. You know, let's try not to mock the only people that I would say that actually deserve mockery are, you know, the gurus, the ones that are promoting this idea, probably knowing that it's not legit, even though they know it's wrong, they're still promoting it because they're making money off of it. Those guys, okay, those guys can be mocked. You know, those guys deserve to be mocked. But the other people that are just following, you know, these others, let's try not to mock them, because it makes it really hard for us to communicate in a reasonable way. And a lot of these Discord chat rooms, you know, like if you're in Discord and you see someone that you think this guy might actually come around, try and get him one-on-one. You know, because when you're in the giant room where people are just throwing insults at each other, it's so hard to have a conversation, actually be able to influence somebody in a positive way. So try to pull them aside. If you're like, hey, take a look at this link, or hey, take a look at this evidence, and don't get into a combative state with them, because I do it. I'm actually advising myself, and you're hearing me self-advise myself, because I do the same thing. I have the same problem, where you have this tendency to think this person's being dishonest on purpose, and you get pissed. Well, sometimes it's just not that way, and other times they are, but it's also a psychological thing, and you know, it's going to take some gentleness in those cases to bring people around. And some people you're not going to be able to help, and recognize that and don't waste your time on them, I guess. But yeah, try to help. You know, try to help. I mean, actually try to help. We're making progress. We have momentum right now. We really do. We have momentum. Things are moving in our direction. We're getting the observations. It's all getting out there. The arguments are getting better. And when I say argument, I don't mean angry arguments. I mean like our actual, you know, ability to deliver information concisely in a way that makes sense to flat earthers is getting better. And you can tell that just by the way they're reacting, by the way they're just quick to, you know, freak out like Southern Israelite did last night. So that's how you know things are coming around. I mean, Southern Israelite might have got freaked out a little bit last night, and he might actually come around. You never know. So let's hope, right? Not much more to talk about. Not much more. The only other thing that I would say would be worth showing you guys is yeah, let's do that real quick. Let me see. I don't have it set up. Let's see if I can do display capture on here. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Let me try and move things around a little bit here and do a little display capture. Let's see, where is it? There we go. Okay. So going to my photos here, I was looking at more photos from a few weekends ago, or a couple weekends ago now. And I was looking at this right here. Okay, here we go. Okay. So you should be able to recognize this. Let me turn these notifications off real quick. All right, so if you've seen any of my work and you recognize this is the causeway, and you'll recognize different, you know, waypoints in here. And one of the things you'll notice is this water tower right here, right? So you'll notice this water tower and this tree line. This is the top. This is the tops of trees, and then the bridge is right here. You see that? And if you look closely while I'll scrub through this stuff, I'm not sure about the frame rate here, so it might be a little bit harder for you to see. But you can see a little bit of like waving in the atmosphere. Like the tree line goes up and down. The water tower gets squished a little bit and then doesn't get squished. So that is refraction at play right there. I mean, we're talking about turbulence in the air and different gradients mixing together. This was happening in, right about the time when the best scene conditions were happening, and the water in the air were starting to equalize, but it was still, still not exactly homogeneous. Especially over 26 miles away. Talking about 26 miles away for that water tower right there. So it's almost impossible to have perfectly clear conditions for 26 miles through the lower part of the atmosphere. I've never seen it except for that one day whenever I went, that one night, actually about a month ago now, whenever I actually filmed in New Orleans. That was the clearest I've ever seen. It was ridiculously clear. But anyway, so I want you to pay particular attention to the water tower and the distance where the water tower and the tree line is to this hump right here. Okay, so pay particular attention to that, and then let's go look at an older, or a video I took from an earlier timestamp. And it'd be worth looking at what times these were taken at. So this is this video right here was taken at 3:36 p.m. Okay, so this is 3:36, and look where the water tower is now. Look at that. You see that? You see how much of a difference it makes in, what time was this one taken at? This is 5972, here we go, 5972. That was taken at 6:05, right? So we're talking about 2.5 hours, right? Isn't that what I said? What's this other one? It's up here. No, that's a different one. Which one was it? 72, 56, 56, 56. Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah, so about 3:30. So about 2.5 hours, and about 2.5 hours, you see how much difference that the atmosphere has made here. Yet you can see in both observations that there is in fact curvature. We still have curvature in both of these observations. It's a pretty major difference, right? Look at it. Like, you don't even see the tree line in this one. And these were both taken from the same locations. This is all during that live stream. But you can tell. Look at the atmosphere here. Look at how blurry things look down here. And how there's a mirage going on. And so this is before the conditions normalized. This is when, I think if you go back on the live stream around this time, I'm saying, yeah, things are getting better. It looks like we're going to have, good observations coming up. Like the air temperature was starting to get, I think the air temperature was starting to catch up. I think the air temperature is actually colder at this point. So the air temperature is starting to catch up to the water temperature. And I expected there to be clear conditions coming, and that's what this is, This shows you the major difference here. So, refraction is a real thing. The amount that refraction actually comes into play under normal conditions is not very much. Not very much. And it doesn't cause this type of curvature. It makes no sense to say it would. There are things such as sinking conditions, that is true, but you can look at the weather and tell if it's sinking conditions or not. You can look at the weather and tell if it's looming conditions or not. And mostly, in my experience, the thing that matters the most is the surface temperature and the air temperature, and that interchange right there. You know, that's what matters the most. That's the biggest factors in how the weather is going to dictate your observation. But there are looming conditions, and you can, in fact, make things like the bridge appear straighter with very specialized conditions. And so if they wait for like super cold water and super hot atmosphere to happen at the same time, yeah, you could get the bridge to loom up in a way that it would look straighter, you know. But if you go when the conditions are, you know, favorable for reducing the effects of refraction, which is what we all should be doing if we're honest about this. You should try and reduce the atmospheric effects as much as possible. When you go in during those conditions, it always looks like a globe, period. That's all there is to it. And I've yet to see a single observation. I mean, we're talking about right here, I'm 150 feet up. For flat Earth to be a legit thing, they'd have to go down to the ground, down to the water level, and photograph the opposite shore. They don't do that ever. They can't do it. Because once you start getting out to those distances, 24 miles, it becomes really hard to do that. You can still get looming conditions around 10, 12 miles. It can happen. That make things easier to see, and you start getting into edge cases where it feels like you're seeing the bottom, you know. But not at 24 miles. Not at 30. You know, I have an observation of a bridge at 29 miles. I've never seen conditions ever that'll pull up 300 feet at 29 miles. Never seen it. So, anyway, long story short, we're doing well. Keep doing it. Keep up the fight. I'll have more interviews coming. And again, this billboard, I need stuff to put on it. So send me stuff. Send me observations specifically. I want like Tim's observation, Miles's observation, anybody else's cool observations is going to plaster them up there. And maybe some lanyap too, like this little NASA logo here. You know, little lanyap like that. Send it to me. I'll put it up there. Just make sure it's not copyrighted. All right, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Miles Davis is saying that's really good to have those two observations. Let me go back real quick and read the chat before we shut down. Let me turn this display off real quick. There we go. That's better. Let's see. Let me look at this real quick. Bob the Science Guy says, "Hey man, what's up? How you doing?" Can we stop equating BEFE? I don't know what B. Stop equating flat Earth with mental illness. I'm not equating flat Earth mental illness. I think there are mentally ill people in flat Earth. There are obviously people that entertain flat Earth that aren't mentally ill. But at some point, once you've seen the evidence, something's wrong. Call it whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't make sense from a healthy mental standpoint. Soundly explained the GPS. Oh, they must be talking about GPS observations. I missed that. Mr. Stone, thanks for all your work against flatardation, Soundly. Hey, Mr. Stone, I appreciate you hanging around. I appreciate you patronizing my channel. You mentioned something the other day about, in a negative way, about merchandising or making money off of YouTube or GoFundMe's and stuff like that. I'm really curious about that. We should have a talk about that, me and you, one-on-one. Because I think I should profit off of my channel. I've put in enough work to profit off of it. I think it's not asking too much to be able to break even. I mean, I've literally spent thousands of dollars to do this stuff, and I have not broken even. So, you know, me considering having a fundraiser to purchase more kit, better kit, so that it doesn't have to come out of my pocket seems reasonable to me. So let's talk about that. I'm curious why you thought differently. Miles, I agree. Having both those observations is great. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a full day or like partial weekend. And let's see. Critical Think says, sounding my ship on the horizon showing horizon drop is good. Yes. Critical Think, send me like your best picture and I'll stick it up on my bulletin board. Saucy London says, soundly, Jose is getting bullied on the ranting hangout at the moment. Well, if that's the case, then everybody should go over there and give Jose some support. You know what? Let's shut it down. Let's go over to Ranty's Hangout and give Jose some support in the chat, guys. Come on, let's go raid the chat. I'll meet you over there. Thanks for stopping by. See you guys later.